Hi guys, it's Eliza and today I'm back for another video. As you can see from the title, today I'll be showing you how to create an interesting OC. A short disclaimer before we start, like always this is just showing you how I do it and is in no way meant to get you to do it my way, so don't let me restrict your options. If you have other ideas on creating an interesting OC that wasn't mentioned in the video, make sure to leave a comment down below. And wow, that was the first time I ever plugged my comment section at the beginning of my video. Let's never speak of this again. Thank you very much. When talking about OCs, I have to at least somehow incorporate stereotypes. This is the gacha community after all. Now, of course you've heard it a million times before, but please don't just copy stereotypes. That said, I'm not telling you to not use them at all. Stereotypes are actually neat ways to make characters easy to understand for the audience. You see that well-dressed girl over there? She must be popular. Someone's wearing glasses? That's a nerd. It's a good way to let an audience understand a story without taking too long to explain and flesh out all the characters. My tip would be to make a stereotype and put a twist on them. And I'm not talking about the popular girl who has a sad home life. That's been overdone enough to get its own place on a pedestal. I would be lying if I told you that I've never based one of my OCs off of someone I knew in real life. All of the best friend characters in my movies have been inspired by my friends, for example. It's also important to mention that most gacha tubers still attend school, which is also where most of the stories take place, meaning that you already have lots of ideas that are just waiting for you to make them into videos. The best characters are realistic ones, and what's more realistic than real life? Often when you're stuck while creating OCs, thinking of character dynamics could be a huge help. If you're making a friend for the protagonist, think of why they are friends in the first place. I personally would not really want to be friends with someone who won't stop shipping me with strangers to then storm off and leave me when I could actually use some help. Instead, try to make things make sense. Give people redeeming qualities, like maybe the friend is outgoing and is constantly trying to get the main character out of their shell. They could still respect their personal boundaries and support them. After all, they're friends. If you plan on having more than one character in your story, character dynamics is something that can't be neglected. You want relationships to be believable, and not something the viewers roll their eyes at. And I swear, if I ever see a bad guy become good just for the girl, ever again, I will lose faith in humanity, and there's already not much left. I know this is something writers don't advise normally, but taking into account that most OCs nowadays don't have a personality outside of shipping the main character with the love interest, or smoking on the roof to get yelled at by the main character, it's probably something to consider. Every good character is something they enjoy, something they're passionate about. It makes them seem more real and grants them a life outside of the story. Now, I've been talking a lot about how important it is for characters to be realistic, but this way also makes it possible for your OCs to become important plot devices. You want your main character to go to a soccer game to continue the plotline you came up with? Maybe she got invited there by a friend who's on a soccer team. There's countless possibilities, and starting your character out by giving them a hobby or something they enjoy to do is a great way to make them stand out from the crowd and make the viewer actually enjoy the character that you're presenting to them on the screen. I promise I'm not talking about the overdone romance cliché, so hear me out. What I'm saying is that most gacha tubers make a lot of OCs, and I, for example, find myself copying my own OCs because of, I'll call it oversight, but we all know I'm just being stupid. Now, what I want you to do is take all those qualities that you tend to repeat and flip them upside down. You always make stories about nerd girls with low self-esteem. What about a story about a girl who's pretty and confident, but still unpopular, making her wonder why nobody likes her? I know the majority of you have probably heard it before, but incorporating flaws makes a character who they are. And by flaws, I don't mean make them struggle because they are too perfect and complain about their amazing lives. Flaws are character traits like arrogance, addiction, dishonesty, or disloyalty, and so many more. And yes, I did look these up. There are countless lists online if you ever plan to create a character based on their flaws. They also work great as plot prompts, but if you're struggling with story ideas, you can of course watch my video on how to come up with original ideas, which should be linked in the top right corner if I don't forget, which has happened before. Of course, it's also a viable option to take inspiration from other characters you've seen in movies, read about in books, or even learned about in school. I've seen some great authors give their protagonists and antagonists a similar personality and character arc to make their stories more interesting and immersive to the reader. This was a concept applied to Mean Girls, for example. Now, for the obvious warning, don't straight up copy characters you've seen somewhere, or else your work might get called out for being unoriginal. And there's nothing worse than working on a video for ages, only to then get bad reviews on it. Since this video is coming to an end, I'll give you the most important tip when creating LCs. Be creative and have fun. With that said, I'm going to end this video now. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this video was helpful. I wish you all a beautiful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye everyone!